Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Skull and Bones 2 and 2 here, bringing you another Gears of War lore video. Today, we're going to be talking about the Coalition of Ordered Governments. This is a very serious lore, a very detailed lore, and I think one of the most important lores we're ever going to cover on this channel. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. I'm going to recite to you a very important thing that every citizen of the Coalition of Ordered Governments should know and should basically, it should be a part of them. So, I'm going to read it to you. This is, a principle that is basically said by all the people that live in the area on Sarah. That's like Jacinto, Eurofira, all this stuff. So let me just read it to you. It's kind of real quick. It's kind of like the Pledge of Allegiance, but besides that, let me get right into it. I am responsible for myself and my actions. I shall conduct myself honorably and live a clean and frugal life. I have responsibilities to my fellow citizens. I shall be loyal to them and humble, because we are elements of a greater whole, and without them I am nothing. I have responsibilities to our society. I shall understand and respect my place in it, defend it, and work to make it prosperous, so that I may receive society's protection, and that way we may hand on safely and hold prosperity to future generations. The Octus Canon. The founding principles of the COG, as handed down by the All-Fathers and recited by every citizen. The Coalition of Ordered Governments was a supranational global alliance on the planet Sarah, headquartered in the tyrant capital of Eurofira. The COG comprised almost every nation on the planet prior to Emergence Day. The COG originated as a socialist political faction, theorized by Alex Dispatch and founded by Nassar Embry and the All-Fathers. Prior and during to the gold rush, which was when emulsion was first mined and starting to be used as a fuel source, which was making a lot of companies who did find it very rich. So it was called the Golden Age, the Gold Rush at this time. The COG was a relatively minor political movement and eventually grew into a larger yet still minor faction. Following the gold rush, the discovery of the light mass process came with the worldwide golden age, and after some years, some nations took near total control of the emulsion business, which left some nations with a weakening economy. This resulted in the subsequent consequences of the Pendulum Wars, which lasted for 80 long years. The victory of the COG over the Union of Independent Republics, or otherwise known as UIR, and the Pendulum Wars allowed the COG to become a global superpower, and it gave near complete domination over the entire planet, comprising of almost every nation. However, the outbreak of the Locust War ended the peace at that end of the time, and the Pendulum Wars, whatever had started, the peace that was made, for most part, had been given up to Sarah and its people within a year, had been diminished, and it was gone. The war forced the COG to retreat and go back to the Jacinto Plateau, and use its Hammer of Dawn technology / strikes to eradicate whatever locust vermin was left on the major cities, and there were a lot of innocent deaths, I can tell you that. It was actually kind of sad reading it. But the reason that a lot of the humans retreated to the Jacinto Plateau was because the locust could not breach through the Jacinto Plateau's what's called a granite surface underground. So they had a granite surface underground the city, and it was impenetrable for the locusts. They couldn't just get to the city. So they were safe for now. So everything outside of Jacinto was a dead zone. And that's where they used the hammer strikes. So everybody in every other city was being forced and told to move the hell out of there and come to Jacinto. And if you couldn't make it, that they said that they accepted your sacrifice, that we understand, and you're gonna be remembered, but you're dead, basically. Like, you don't really mean that much. As long as the most of us get to cover our ass and we're gone, then that's all that matters. And it was kind of fucked up, it's kind of sad. So the economy. Let's talk about the COG's economy. The COG utilized the coin and paper currency system backed up by gold. The basic unit of currency in the COG was called the dollar. Similar to something we know, right? Dollars were produced in paper and coin increments. The money financial supply of the COG was managed by the Coalition Reserve. Its primary purpose was the production and management of the COG's financial supply. Financial supply was managed in banks. One of the notable banks in Sarah, or on Sarah, was the Bank of Tyrus and Eurofira. Some private companies in the private economic sector of the COG included NAS, an armor manufacturing company, Aglar, a helicopter manufacturing company, Solaro, a solar car Company and Lopus Energy and Griffin Emulsion Corporation were companies dedicated to refining and distributing emulsion resources. Cool facts, right? Society and culture. Society. We only achieve unity through order, which is Nassar Embry. And Phoenix is here because this society is formed from people pulling together, not breaking away into separate groups. Unity. Because no man can exist on his own. No country can either. That's why we have the Coalition of Ordered Governments. Major Fuller to Adam Phoenix. COG societies revolved around the military, especially the army, and was bred into the social fabric. COG society revolved on the policies and ideologies that the COG was founded upon, both the Austria Canon and Octus Canon. In the Austria Canon, ideals of order, diligence, prudent labor, loyalty, faith, were humility, or as a responsibility, basically. And to live clean and frugal lives, it was the idea of being part of a society that was working hard for the better and for the next generation. COG societies mainly were mixed of white, Caucasian, Australian, Hispanic, of any Latino descent, Asian, what else? You have Native American also. So it was pretty cool. It was just a really mixed planet with a lot of mixed cultures, very similar to a little something we call as planet Earth. So moving on to the next thing that we have for you guys right here. Let's talk a little bit about Emergence Day. This is Emergence Day. This is an unknown gear when the locusts were first spotted. Mayday, mayday. Something just came out of the ground. Repeat. They just came out of the ground. Unidentified gear. 6 weeks after the Pendulum Wars ended, on one fateful day for humanity, the Locust Horde emerged from the underground warrens of Sarah in a surprise, full-scale planetary assault, what would soon become known as Emergence Day. The Locust Horde invaded almost every single major city, and what was a campaign of rapid dominance. On the first day alone, a quarter of the total human population was killed. This is a news reporter. Though still trying to confirm, it seems like reports saying untold masses of men, women, and children have been butchered since last night's emergence are true. Unidentified TV news reporter the day after Emergence Day. After the first day, reports streamed in that said untold masses of men, women, and children had been butchered after the first wave, and at first humanity had absolutely no idea of what their new enemy was or who they were and where they had come from. COG scientists had quickly begun to attempt their study their new enemy, and their new enemy was now referred to as the Locust Horde. The first image was noted as being taken within 45 minutes within the first emergence on E-Day. The COG struggled to take quick action against their new enemy though, and the Locust surprise assault caught humanity and the COG off guard. They rallied their war only too late, with the Locust already dominating the majority of Sarah's urban military and industrial centers, giving the Locust habitat or habitation of the looting or captured cities, fallen enemies, and using their stolen assets in their war against the humans. COG troops and other nations' troops had little time to rally up and fight against the Locust's troops in the habit of looting resources and rapidly ended up losing territory. So the destruction of Halvo Bay, that happened, and that was like when freaking what Emergence Day happened. So that was actually kind of crazy to think about. E-Day happened, and then that happened. So that's just crazy. And all in all, to be honest. So you're losing major cities, and we actually got to play a game on one event that happened right after a big major event. So I kind of actually hope they can make a game like that, E-Day. Like E-Day. We got a taste of it in Gears of War 4, but I'm kind of hoping we can get a little bit more. So let's go and talk about chairmans now. And this is the most important part, I think. The COG was led by a chairman who was elected by the Council of Sovereigns. The chairman was the highest executive figure in the global alliance of the coalition. The chairman of the COG had authority over all the armed forces of member states. The second in command and the second highest executive figure was the deputy chairman. There was also a cabinet where individual departments were created to support specific areas of the COG. Of these departments, the head of each of these departments were a part of the cabinet, and the chairman was a part of the cabinet. Very confusing government things right there. Then there's a whole legislative branch we could get into, but it's very boring. But one important thing about that whole legislative branch is that it dealt with the House of Sovereigns, death place of Anthony Carmine. Anyways, the House of Sovereigns is where the Council of Sovereigns of that legislative branch had the job of overseeing all day-to-day affairs with the coalition of order governments. Anything the military did, anything that dealt with foreign exchanges, anything that was in foreign affairs, it was going through the legislative administration there with the coalition of order governments, and through there, a lot of many things just happened. So if you wanted the okay to bomb on the UIR territories, then you would have to go through these guys first before I'm bombing them. So I mean, that's as close as it gets, really. And one last thing, so for Gears of War 4, the COG, the new COG that we see, which is Minister Jin, it ends up changing a tad bit. That's what happens. It becomes first minister instead of chairman. And what happens is, with this first minister gig, this whole new thing, it's like a dictatorship. I don't know where the hell Min came from. We need to learn her like backstory or something. But basically, she's turned the chairman, the duty of the chairman, and the whole government idealistic lifestyle or whatever into this dictatorship, and she commands these people. And there's a really rich, dark history, I guess you could say, for her. And the history behind, like, if you've heard in campaign, oh, Settlement 5, all that crap, why JD's banished with Dell from their COG society, and why Oscar left. And if you didn't know, fun fact, Oscar was a COG soldier. As a matter of fact, many of the original outsiders that you see were a part of the COG settlement that we see. And what happened was after the incident with Settlement 5, they ended up leaving that this newfound COG lifestyle, I guess you could say, and they left it and they started the Outsiders. And it was the whole reason because of they knew what Minister Jin was doing wrong. And then she had Damian Baird create these enforcer DBs to keep everybody in check, and if no soldier was following her commands, then it was crazy. It was very crazy. So if you guys enjoyed this lore video, comment down below, give me any feedback, because I really like that. And I really can't say anything else, but this is just a really crazy lore video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe again. And again, thank you for the love and support. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't possible for you guys. But I'll see you guys in the next one. This has been Skull and Bones, and I'm gonna be signing off. Peace.